All right. I just came back from the gym and the pre-workout is still kicking. Anyway, serious and selling this bodybuilding. This is Anabolic Academy. Please like, share, subscribe. If you're new to the channel and you've never seen this episode, I say this every week. I sound like a broken record, but this is the part of the channel where you send me questions about bodybuilding, fitness, or anything you'd like, and I answer it to the best of my ability. How can you reach me? You can reach me on Instagram, Serious and Silliness. You could reach me at my email, John_Olivia at Yahoo, or my other email, Uncle John 1201. Well, hold on. My lips are chapped. I don't have smooth, kissable lips today. All right. Anyway, yeah, my other email, Uncle John 1201 at Gmail, John Olivia TikTok, John Olivia Facebook. I think that's it. Yeah. Anyway, so you send me questions and I will answer them. And it makes everything fabulous. One thing I want to address one thing. Something happened. I'm not going to mention names. That's the number one. This is private. I'm not going to mention names, but it kind of bothers me a little bit. There's a very young man that I know who loves bodybuilding. He's an aspiring bodybuilder. Absolutely loves bodybuilding. And he loves the elite bodybuilders. They're like his heroes. So one particular bodybuilder who is an elite top professional accepted his friend request or whatnot on Instagram. However it works. So that bodybuilder was now following him on his Instagram. So this very young man messages me and says, if you're still friendly with him, please let him know he made my day. And he sent me the clip. So, because I've had this guy on before. Now, I've had plenty of elite bodybuilders on the channel before. So, there's no way anybody's going to know because I'm not going to mention names, but there's a point. So I messaged the guy. I was like, look, you just made this kid's day. He's an aspiring bodybuilder. He's got a great physique. He loves you. He loves your career, so on and so forth. Blah, 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 blah. And I sent him the whole Snapchat of what he said, how excited he was. And the guy writes back, cool. Okay. Is this where we're at? Do we not realize the effect we have on fans? Or are these elite top professional bodybuilders so used to it, so used to people saying, oh, you're my favorite, I motivate you, you're the best, whatever, that it means nothing to them anymore? Because cool to me sounds like you really don't give a shit. And of course, I didn't respond, I didn't say anything, so on and so forth. But it seems to me that the reaction you got from this very young man didn't mean much to this particular bodybuilder. And that bothers me. Because without these kids, without these young kids, without the fans, without these people, I'd be nothing without my YouTube channel. Without them, my YouTube channel would be nothing. Your career would be nothing because nobody would buy the tickets to go watch you. Nobody would be watching your Instagram. Nobody would be buying the supplements that you're sponsored by, and so on and so forth. But there was absolutely no enthusiasm behind it. I mean, you could have said something. Tell him it's my pleasure. I mean, really, it's better than cool. Tell him if he needs any pointers for his bodybuilding career, he could always DM me. Anything, 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 anything. But the response I got was cool. And I mean, at least I got a response. Okay, I could say that. All right, he could have ignored me. And I don't know him really good, but he's been on my show a few times. He's always been a gentleman to me. I've always been respectful to him, which is why I will never mention his name. But I just hope that the majority of bodybuilders that are at the elite level and the top 10 in the Olympia winning pro shows because he's in the top 10 in the Olympia and he's winning pro shows. Um, I hope they understand the effect that they have on fans. I hope they really understand that these young kids, these aspiring bodybuilders, really, really look up to these guys. And it means a lot to them when you just friend them on Instagram or follow them on Instagram. And a little bit of encouraging words can't hurt. It's not going to hurt. He could have said a whole bunch of other things besides cool. Now, I know I'm just a small YouTube channel and I'm just clawing my way to the top. But I guarantee you, I promise you, as God is my witness, if I have 10,000 subscribers on my channel or if I have 1 million subscribers on my channel, that will never be me. Any person that messages me, that wants to speak to me, and that I inspire, I will do my best to speak to them and encourage them and appreciate the love they have for me. So I just hope that all these bodybuilders that are out there, I hope they understand the impact I have. I hope they appreciate it. And I hope they can just reciprocate a little bit. You know, there's this, I don't know the names. Okay. I listen to a lot of podcasts. I listen to podcasts driving into work. I listen to podcasts driving home from work. I listen to podcasts when I'm doing cardio. And even when I sit my ass on the couch, I'm putting on YouTube, watching a podcast constantly. It's what the odd part is most of the time it's not bodybuilding. But there was this one, podcaster, and he said, as a man, your life is in 3 parts. The first part is to make mistakes. The second part is to make a living. And the third part is to give back. And you got to know when to give back. All right. And I think a lot of people that are in the position, this privileged position that they're in, I think that they don't understand, and I think they take it for granted. That's it. That's all I'm going to say about that. Now let's get back to Anabolic Academy. Let's get back to the fun. Okay. My first question is from Billy Del Russo, the not gay hairdresser. And I could tease him because he's a friend of mine. He actually texted me this question last week, and he wrote back to me today or yesterday. Don't forget my question that I texted you. So Billy Del Russo, the not gay hairdresser, I am going to answer your question as best of my ability. The question is, Primo Bone, why is it so hard to come by, and why is it fake so much? Okay. The only answer I can come up with, I did a little bit of research, but the only answer I could come up with is that it is expensive. The compound is expensive. So the majority of underground labs are probably going to use a cheaper compound like EQ or Test Probe or something like that, and fake it as Primobolan. And because their first, unfortunately, their first impulse is to make money, right? So here we'll use a cheaper compound. They're not going to know. They'll still see results. They'll think it's Primobolan, and they think they got a bargain. Okay. That's the only answer I know. Why is it so expensive? I have no idea. I'm not a chemist. I don't know why some compounds are more expensive than others. But here's one thing that you could do. And I tell everybody this who wants to do a cycle, who wants to try anabolics. And believe me, I'm not condoning in any way that you do it. I'm just saying, if you do, go to DavePalumbo.com and buy the Roid test kit. It's relatively inexpensive. And a couple of drops of the solution, and you're going to know immediately if it's real or fake. So if you buy Primobolan and you think it's real or you think it's fake and you want to test it, it's really simple. You have the solution, you put a couple of drops of what you think the Primobolan is or the Primobolan into the solution. That solution turns a certain color. Then you have a color chart. And then let's say Primobolan, the color is green, right? And then it turns green. Oh, it's real. It's Primobolan. Now, if it turns another color or doesn't turn at all, you know you got something else or you got garbage. That's the best advice I can give you. That kit is so inexpensive. I think it's like $100 or $150 tops. It comes exactly how to use it. It's so easy to use. They're not going to tell you how many milligrams it is. They're not going to tell you like how potent it is, but it is going to tell you what you have, what is in it, whether it's Primobolan, whether it's Sustanon, whether it's Cypionate, whether it's Masteron, whatever it is. It's just a simple color chart that you find that you follow, and then you never have to worry about it. So my attitude with Primo Bowling is why even try it? Why even buy it? Why even buy it? If it's faked, if it's too expensive, if I know everybody wants to stay safe, but there are other safe compounds. I mean, there's things like, Anavar, but why waste your money? Why worry? So on and so forth. If you're going to make the decision that you want to use a cycle, and the problem is that you want to use safer compounds, there is no safer compound. You're taking a chance. You're risking it no matter what. And as far as I'm concerned, if you're taking something that possibly might be faked, very well likely be faked, you're taking a bigger risk than you really need to, because you're trying to find a not so toxic compound. You just because then it might be very toxic, or you might be getting nothing at all. It might be grapeseed oil. I mean, you might get no reaction, or like I said, it might be another compound. That's the best advice I can give you, man. All right, next question. This question is from SI Red 425. What's the stuff you put on to look tan? It is called Protan. I know, it's very simple. It's Protan. So what bodybuilders do is they take this Protan, and depending on how light skinned they are, how dark skinned they are, they have to put layers on. Like me, I would tan and I would have to put like 2 or 3 layers of Protan on. And then on top of that, there was another thing called Jantana, which gave you this really dark, nice tan. But it's so difficult to get off. I mean, you could take 3 showers, this crap is still on you. But that's what it's called. It's called Protan, and the other one is Jantana. And I'm sure there's other ones at this point. By the time when I competed, it was 2014, and that was and fun fact for people that are not in this world, this is common knowledge for people that are in the bodybuilding world. People who aren't in the bodybuilding world, fun fact, that oily glistening stuff that you see that makes them look shiny, if you will. You know what they use? Pam. Yeah. Yeah. They use Pam. The cooking spray. They spray it on, and it gives you a nice shine. And I know there are companies that mimic that for bodybuilding purposes, but basically that's what everybody does. You go backstage to a bodybuilding contest, there's bottles of Pam everywhere, right? There's bottles of Pam, Protan, Jantana everywhere. And gloves, because everybody's got their gloves on, and you have a friend wiping you down, or your coach is wiping you down, or putting the tan on or whatever, or putting the Pam on or whatever. So that's your answer, Staten Island Red. And I know I know the SI is from Staten Island because you're from Staten Island. Next question from HitFit_performance. And HitFit, thank you for the kind words today. I actually put it in my stories. You said some very nice words for me, and I appreciate that, man. And I put it in my stories because nothing I could say to you or respond to you in a DM would have been nice enough. Like a thank you wouldn't have been nice enough for the kind words you said to me. So I put it in my stories and showed everybody the nice things that you said to me. His question: will you get shredded for the summer? I try. Yeah, listen, man, I'm not going to get shredded, but I am going to get my butt in shape. I always try to get in shape, get a 6-pack, look good on the beach, and I always have like a goal. So this year I'm going on vacation. I'm going to the Dominican Republic in June. So that's my goal, to look halfway decent when I take my shirt off in the Dominican Republic, But yeah, I always try to get in shape. I never try to like stay bloated or anything like that. You get to a certain age, and like you're not going to get chiseled for stage ready, but you're gonna want to just stay in shape and be healthy and have a low body fat percentage, and have good cardiovascular health, and so on and so forth. HitFit_performance. Again, how do you prefer to train? High volume or lower volume with high intensity? Well, what I try to do here's what I try to do. I try to do um heavyweight with a lot of reps. So it's high volume with heavyweight. Now, as I'm getting older, I can't do as much as I used to, but I still try to push it. And when I get to the point where, so I guess technically you can call it high volume, but when I get to the point where it's too heavy and I can only get 3, 4, 5 reps, that's not enough. So then I immediately do a drop set. So let's say I'm bench pressing for argument's sake, and I get to my heaviest set and I get 4 reps out of it and I drop the weight. I immediately do a drop set because that heavy set's not enough to stimulate the muscle, right? And then I do a drop set immediately. So that's what I do. Now the video I did where you see me in the gym with my friend, that's Matt Mariano is a great personal trainer, and we followed his training strategies, his training philosophy. I don't normally train like that. I usually do a lot more free weights. He likes angles and pulleys. It was a great workout. Don't get me wrong, So you're not really seeing my real workout. The next one I do, you'll see my real workout where like but when you see my real workout when I put the shorts up. I usually tell somebody, a friend of mine or somebody in the gym, hey, do me a favor, view this for me. And when you see me doing legs, you see me doing back, you see me doing whatever, anything I'm doing when I put the shorts up, that's really how I normally train. But I hope that answers your question. Next question, once again, HitFit_performance. Your thoughts about fans harassing other competitors and where do you draw the line? Well, okay, harassing. So do you mean in person or on Instagram or social media? Okay. I don't think many fans are harassing anybody in person because then there are real life consequences. So I'm going to assume you mean social media. As an athlete, and as the guy that's the public figure, you got to ignore it. You got to ignore it. You have to. You can't let it get to you. You can't, because that's the trade-off. If you want to be a public figure, if you want to be famous, the trade-off is you are under the public microscope. That's what celebrities have to deal with. That's what politicians have to deal with. That's what athletes have to deal with. And now with the birth of social media in the last 10, 15 years or so, well, no, but I'd say about 15 years or so, that's what bodybuilders have to deal with. Now, as far as going too far, what do I think is too far? Obviously, death threats is too far. Family, insulting family members is too far. Anything that's not directly related to the bodybuilder. But if you show up at a show and you're off and somebody leaves a message on your Instagram, you look like a butterball turkey on that stage. Just fucking ignore it, man. I mean, you gotta understand these people, whether it's YouTubers like myself or people on social media that follow you on Instagram or TikTok or Facebook or whatever it is, they wish they were in your shoes. They're fans. They're bodybuilding fans. They wish they were as good as you, and they're not, but they're still following the sport, and they become what they believe is critics of the sport. And because social media enables you to critique without consequence, you're going to get the most vicious critiques. So as the athlete, as the public figure, as the famous person, if you will, just ignore it. You have to be better than that. Yeah. That's it, man. People are going to say shit and it's not going to stop. It's never going to stop. Okay. Next question. Guess from who? That's right. You guessed right. Fran is the man because Fran is the motherfucking man. Let's see. After being suspended from YouTube, do you plan on filtering your content more to avoid more issues? No. What? All right. I got suspended from YouTube not because of the content. I got suspended from YouTube because of a clip that I put in the description area. That particular clip went directly to a pornographic site because I interviewed a fetish model and I was trying to help her promote her business or whatnot. And I said, give me your links and I'll put them in the description as people will just go and look and whatever. And that's what happened. But as far as what I'm going to say, I've never gotten a strike because of something I've said. People like to complain about YouTube and so on and so forth. For the most part, as long as you're not inciting violence, you can pretty much say whatever you want. Now, there are certain words YouTube doesn't like you to say. Like if somebody wants to end their life, you can't say the word. You can, but then your punishment is the if the algorithm picks up, they're not going to push the video out to the people that they think you might like it. Like for example, like if you watch bodybuilding videos all the time and I say the word, my bodybuilding video might not come up in other videos you may like because I said that word. That word, there's a couple of them. Grape, but obviously we're not talking about grape. We're talking about how can I say it? Non-consensual sex. Okay, because I can't. What was the other one? There's a bunch of them. There's a bunch of them. They don't really want you to say. Obviously, the bigger channels could say it because they're so big, people are gonna go and watch it anyway, right? But as far as me saying what I want to say and viewing my opinion about bodybuilding or about whatever, whatever. I mean, they don't really they don't go after people talking about sports. They usually go after the content they usually go after is like this political stuff. But I don't get into that, so I don't really have to worry. So no, I'm not going to clean up what I want. If like jokes, comics, they don't, no, they really, I watch oh God, what's the one? What's the one? On oh jeez. Well, Bobby Lee. Bobby Lee is the Asian comic. He's American, but he's Asian and he's Korean. He has another guy, I forgot his name, on something Friends. I forgot the name of it. It's hilarious. They're always doing edgy comedy. Always, constantly doing edgy comedy. It's hysterical, you know. So no, no, I'm not gonna be saying anything like that. Anyway, let's see. Next question from Fran is the man. Is Justin Rodriguez's career done, or does he still have more in the tank to win a show? All right, my opinion, I think he's done. But I've seen that's just my opinion. But we've seen guys in the past, not many, but we've seen guys where we wrote off and go, he's done, and then all of a sudden he comes back and he's spot on. We've seen that happen. With Justin, it seems like his stomach's getting a little bloated. Seems like he can't get into the same conditioning he used to, and it seems like his legs are becoming a little bit undersized for his upper body. So he doesn't have this beautiful V taper he used to have. He doesn't have the conditioning he used to have, and he doesn't have these flaring quads he used to have. He's just not the Justin Rodriguez he was from 3 years ago or 4 years ago, whatever it was. He's just not. Uh, but this is not a knock on him. This is the life of an athlete. This is what every athlete goes through. You start from the beginning. You're climbing, climbing, climbing. You hit a climax where you're at your best ever, and then you start dropping off. This happens to every athlete: basketball players, baseball players, football players, fighters, boxers, UFC guys, obviously bodybuilders, hockey players. This is the life. This is the cycle of an athlete. It doesn't mean he's less of a person. It doesn't mean he doesn't deserve respect of what he accomplished in the sport. It just means that it seems like he's on the downside of his career, which every athlete will deal with unless the very few retire at the top, like a Lee Haney. I think he's the only one. I mean, I can't even think of another bodybuilder that retired at the top. You want to say Schwarzenegger, but then he made that comeback in 1980, right? So, right. Um, yeah, so that's my answer for that. Next question and final question from Fran is the man. Do you think more bodybuilding shows should copy the backdrop and lighting from the Detroit? Yes, 100%. 100%. They should all do that. Now, the question comes in the sponsors. Now, when you're there, when you're there, you could obviously put the sponsor's name or banner somewhere else on the stage. What happens is the live stream. You can't see the sponsors behind the stage. So you're gonna have to come up with something else. And the first thing I thought of was the old school like C-SPAN or CNN where they had like the headlines underneath, right? So you just have the sponsors that sponsor like go across the live the live feed, right? Let's say, I don't know, let's say, oh, Hostel sponsored the Detroit Pro. Just have the Hostel April supplement discount, 20% or whatever the hell you're gonna write, goes right across the bottom, when that because it looked too good. The black backdrop and the lighting looked too good. We were able to see the athletes really well because when you have sponsors behind you, when you have lighting behind you, when you have smoke screens behind you, when you have big Olympia on behind you, um, it's it really destroys the fan from seeing the bodybuilder well. And it's unfortunate. They'll figure it out. I mean, they'll figure it out. I mean, but yes, they should definitely copy this somehow and figure everything else out because this was we were able to actually see how close Good Vito and Martin Fitzwater was. And then we were really able to see how Martin Fitzwater pulled ahead in the night show. And it probably would have been a little bit more difficult to see that if they didn't have that black backdrop and the lighting they had. So, yes, they should definitely do it. Anyway, there's another question. I'm sorry. I almost missed this question. Hold on. This is from Katie. Katie is the girl that Edison does all the fun shit on my video. And her and I have become really good friends. So she has a question. If Mike Tyson and OJ Simpson were in the ring together, who do you think would win, presuming OJ didn't have a knife? All right, I'm going to take a fun question and make it real. All right. No other athlete is going to be able to give a professional elite fighter a run for his money in the ring. It's never going to happen. Especially a guy like Mike Tyson, because Mike Tyson was probably the most gifted heavyweight fighter with the most raw talent that ever lived. I don't think he was the hardest worker. I don't think I think he had the most raw talent, and then he had one of the greatest trainers that ever existed in his corner, which was Cus D'Amato. And then when Cus passed, he had two disciples of Cus that learned directly from Cus. One was Teddy Atlas, and then the other one was Kevin Rooney. So you have to understand, for people that don't know fighting, especially boxing, not only did he become a great offensive fighter from these guys, he became a great defensive fighter, but he also learned how to create holes in order to optimize his offense. And if you go back and you look at his early fights, you could see that. You could see these guys throwing combinations, boom, 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 and he's dodging and weaving. He's waiting till the right second where that hole is opened because his dodging and weaving had opened it, or his footwork had opened it. And bang, he's able to knock you out. Okay. The better way to put it is, OJ would never be able to beat Mike Tyson in a boxing match, ever, ever. Even if he did give him a knife. And Mike Tyson would never be able to play football with OJ. Two different worlds, two different athletes. But interesting question. Thank you, Katie. All right. That's it. Like, share, subscribe, and I will see you guys soon. Peace.